So as we begin, the first thing we want to do is to create a geometric configuration. We'll do something pretty simple with a simple intersection. Then we want to turn around and we want to create a civil cell from this geometric configuration, and then we want to place that in other similar areas. So let's begin. We'll come over here to our task menu, and under our horizontal geometry we'll do a single offset entire element. So I'm going to select my mainline alignment here. We'll use an offset of 24, and it says, do you want a mirror? And I'm going to say yes, I do. We'll do the same thing here along our side road. Let's do an offset of 12, and it says, do you want a mirror? And I'm going to say yes, I do. Come back over to, and let's place a simple arc for a curb return. And so we'll select our first geometric element there, and our second we'll do 25, and then I'll trim extend both. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, 25, and we'll trim and extend both. Now you'll notice that these are geometric elements, so they're all have rules, and they're relationship based. So this edge of pavement has a rule that ties it to this geometric element. This one has a rule that ties it to this geometric element, etc. Any of these we can come in and modify. So for example, I can choose this curb return. Maybe I want to change that to a 35-foot radius. Maybe I want to come over here and change this to a 50-foot radius. Maybe I want to change this to a -18, and maybe I want to change this to an 18. So these are all geometric elements that can be modified. Now that we've got this geometric configuration, we want to come in here and we want to create this or store this as a civil cell. So to do that, I'm going to come over to my civil components, and you'll notice I have an option here to create civil cell, and I also have an option to place a civil cell. So I'm going to select the option to create a civil cell. Now notice it asked me for a civil cell name, okay, and I'm just going to let that default to intersection 1. And the first thing it says is locate my first reference element. Now I've actually got two reference elements. I've got my main line, and I've also got my secondary reference element, which is the side road here. So I'm going to identify the main line as my first reference element. Now you'll notice when I do that, what it does is it highlights all the geometric elements that are in relationship to it. And in this case, I've got these edge of pavements. And then it says locate your next reference element, and I'll locate that one. And what it does, it highlights all the elements, geometric elements that are in relationship to it. Now I can have as many of these as I want. In this case, I've only got 2, so I'll do a reset to complete. You also have the ability to select what's called an optional reference, and we'll come back later and explain what that is. In this case, I don't have any, so I'm just going to reset to complete, and then it says accept your civil cell. So I'm just going to data point to accept the completion of that. Now you'll notice now when I come over and highlight that the entire geometric configuration is now highlighted. So this is a civil cell. In fact, if I hover over it, you'll notice I get an option for properties, and the only property that I have is the name. So if I wanted to change that name, I could change it right there. So if I come back later and look at my properties, you'll notice the name of my civil cell has now been changed. You also have the ability to place the civil cell, and you have the ability to delete the civil cell. Now we'll come back and look at the place civil cell in just a second, but I want to notice something here. Let's say, for example, now my civil cell has already been stored, but let's say I wanted to modify something in that civil cell. Let's say, for example, I wanted to modify this curb return here. So I can come over here and select it. I can right click and still have access to the underlying geometry. So if I want to come in and change that to a 35, I can still change that to a 35, but notice it's still a civil cell. So just because we've stored it as a civil cell doesn't mean that we can't come back and actually access the underlying geometric content. We absolutely can do that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a fit. Now you'll notice that I've got other intersections here. I've got another intersection here that's very similar with a radial type configuration. I've got another intersection over here where the side road is actually skewed, and then I've got another intersection here where the side road is actually on the other side of the main line. So what I want to do here is I want to take this civil cell and I want to place it on these other areas. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hover over it, and I'm going to say place civil cell. And you'll notice that first thing it says is locate the reference element, my first reference element, so I'm going to locate that reference element. It says locate your second reference element, which is this one. And so it's going to place my civil cell. It says select element to reverse, and I don't have any reversal here that I need, so I'm going to reset. And it says accept your civil cell placement. Okay, so if we zoom in here, you'll notice that civil cell has now been placed onto this area here, but notice all the geometric intelligence has been maintained. So this intersection may be slightly different. Maybe this intersection has 50-foot curb returns, and maybe on this intersection here, I want a 24 feet on this one, and I want a minus. Let's try that again. I want minus 24 on this one. So again, you can even though the civil cell is placed in another location, it still maintains its geometric configuration. Not only that, it maintains its relationships here. So if I pick this up and I move it, you'll notice as I move it, it maintains all those relationships as it goes. So if I want to pick this up and move it out, that changes as well. If my main line was actually to move up and change, all that would change as well there. Okay. So again, the idea is that even after you place this civil cell, it maintains all of this geometric relationship. Now let's go look at another area here, and let's place this civil cell here, and let's place it down here on one that's already skewed. So again, we'll select our first reference, we'll select our second reference. We have no reversal, so I'll reset and I'll accept my civil cell placement. And again, you'll notice as we do that it went ahead and made the it made the adjustments for the skew here as we went. Let's do one final place civil cell. In this case, we'll put one here that's on the other side of the road. So this will be our first reference element. Okay, this will be our second reference element. Okay, and then notice it automatically recognizes the need to move that to the other side of the road. Okay, and we will accept our civil cell placement. And so it had no problem with moving that to the other side of the road. Again, all of your geometric configurations are saved, and if any of these needs to be moved, you'll notice that the geometrics are going to be moved with that automatically as we go. So again, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So what we wanted to do here is just give some very simple basics so that we can understand exactly what a civil cell is.